Hey Taurus, welcome to your April reading. Can't get my words out. Great start. I have already shuffled and laid. I'm restarting because I had a little hiccup there on my lighting. It's all of a sudden got really dark because it's a full-on rainy day. I'm improvising with my setup, so it kind of looks kind of romantic. Anyway, guys, so I'm fully laid out. Let's jump right in. So we start off with the card Traveler. I will show you. It's an awesome card. I get the sense that we are here in this time, astrologically, we are being urged to make changes. Now, the key words for this is move in a new direction. I believe that, Taurus, we are supposed to be changing nearly all aspects of our lives now. I feel like we've come to this space where we want what's authentic, we want what's in alignment, and astrologically we're being pushed towards whatever helps us feel independent and free. And that looks different for everybody. I do get this sense of needing to work on the internal. The cards down in this column will kind of all align with that thought process too, and I'll get to that when I get to that. But I get this sense of literally moving and changing the way that we do things, changing the way that things are done. When I say internally, I just get this sense of needing to look at your thought process and how you're dealing with things right now. I feel like a new direction with that is really key and essential for our well-being and the healing processes that we're going through at the moment. Tarot has laid straight on all of these cards, so I'm going to have to move him out the way in a minute. I do feel for some of us it may be moving, a change of location, or the need of literally changing of personal space. That could come under work, career, home, anything that includes moving, involves moving, sorry. But I do feel, again, I just keep being really brought back to this mental space of us needing to change the narrative. Now, I'm going to go on to the first cards. I just need to move Tarot. I'm just going to put my mic down a second so I can pick him up. Alright, you're in the way, Mr. Tarot. Okay, so the first cards that we have are Eternal Love and Knight of Wands. Now, with this Eternal Love, I instantly feel vulnerability. Now, with this Traveler card, I got this sense of doing things alone and having to. I do get this kind of sadness. I can say for myself, I feel like I always have to do things alone. And it's no matter how hard I try to kind of let people in or to try and, because I don't like asking for help and I don't like leaning on people for support. I just don't feel like I'm built that way to allow that, but I know it's unhealthy, so I try. And then when I try, more recently I've noticed that it's just like every time I make the efforts try, there's roadblocks and hindering. It's like I just have to do things alone. It's like and I'm really frustrating myself. And as I get onto these last cards, I'll touch on the reasoning behind all of this for us as well. I just feel like there's a block at the moment, which is why we need this new direction. But so we get this sense of feeling like we have to do things alone because it's just the only way. It's like the universe telling us, you're just going to do it alone. You're like, well, I fucking always do. Sorry, my language. And that's the vibe with this. I get this sense of frustration and needing to surround ourselves with love from ourselves and realizing we're doing the best we can. Now, alternatively, also applying. In terms of love, Eternal Love is a great card. I feel like you can trust in your relationship and knowing that they love you and they support you to the best of their ability. And I do feel like at the moment we need to allow space for our partners, but understanding, again, trust your intuition and trust your needs and desires. So as I said, with this feeling like having to do all things alone, if you're anything like me, I always tend to put the needs of people I love first. And then that leaves me with a space. Oh no, we might have some thunder. Great. I just saw a flash of lightning up my window. I lost my trail of thought now. There we go, there's the thunder. Oh, this is going to interrupt my readings. Oh god, okay. Is trusting, we need to allow our own feelings out and know that we are just as valuable as anyone else in the relationship. And I feel this sense of blocking and keeping it all in. So trust in what you're feeling and allow yourself to feel that. I do get this sense of needing to surround yourself with eternal self-love during this time. Now trust me, that is so frustrating for myself to hear because I'm like, I try. But I'm reading the cards, right? It's saying surround ourselves with self-love. I do feel like in terms of love, we are feeling passionate. We are ready to next level. And I do feel like we're wanting more than we're getting at the moment. I do think patience is needed, but again, allow yourself to feel that and trust how you're feeling. It's for a valid reason, because it is. I think sometimes when putting other people before ourselves, we start to invalidate our own feelings. I'm literally telling myself off in my mind right now because that's exactly what I do. I start to feel like maybe I'm being toxic because I have all these wants and all these needs that aren't being met to the way that I feel I need them to be met in this home. And this creates this internal dialogue that we give ourselves. Especially if you're neurospicy, you will probably connect to this a lot more easier. And it's something that I'm trying to work on myself. Now, this next card, we have the Fool in reverse, which is exactly that. You're kind of hindering and blocking. I get this sense of hindrance of moving forward. It's not for the lack of wanting or for the lack of trying. I do feel like we're in our own way. Now, with this paired is guarded and protected. I feel as though we are protecting ourselves at the moment from that vulnerable feeling that we are feeling, from those areas that don't feel 100%, because we know that we're heading towards authenticity, we're heading towards keeping things in alignment with who we are. It creates this kind of blockage when things don't seem to be going in that direction, and yet it is an object of our desire, a goal that we aim to meet. So when things are hiccuping, it's like creating this wall that's like blocking up with bricks. This is how I'm sensing it. It's kind of like, and I'll use myself as an example roughly. So in terms of relationship wise, when the other person isn't, I've vocalized my communication, and when it isn't being met, a block goes up. All of a sudden, like, they're not listening and they're not hearing to the degree that I'm trying to express. So the wall comes up a little bit. Then in terms of work-wise, I put myself out there and it doesn't get the result that I need to get from that. Another block goes up. Socially, I'm struggling to connect with people. I'm struggling to meet social arrangements and things like that. Another block goes up. I start really, and all of a sudden I'm behind this block, this massive wall that is guarded, that I'm hiding behind, that I'm staying hermit zoned in my bed because it's a safe space. My bed representing my whole house, where I feel like I'm excluded from the entire world, other than me and my children. And it, I'm hidden behind this wall all of a sudden, right? So this is just an example of, so I can represent the feeling of what I'm getting through with these cards. And so that, again, this vulnerable thing, that wall is stopping external love from coming through to you. It's protecting you from the vulnerabilities that may come in forms of rejection, of misunderstandings, or overstimulation. All of these things are behind on the other side of that wall, and you're protecting yourself from it. However, that's now stopping you from also reaching potential, from reaching the feeling of the love, from reaching appreciation and gratitude that comes from external sources. You're now hidden behind this wall. And this is this guarded and protected I'm feeling. There's so much seriousness. There's so much darkness, to a degree, shadows that you're hiding in. And I feel like this blocks the moving. This blocks the traveling. Now you have to change your direction. We are not allowed to stay where we are. We're not allowed to be comfortable. We are actually urged, Taurus, to face our fears, and if it makes you feel a little bit nervous, to go ahead and do it. Because that's probably the direction that you're supposed to take, because there's something exciting there, and that feels a little bit unnerving after perhaps what you've been through this past year. Now, the Fool can represent taking things too seriously and not taking healthy risks. And this is what I feel like it comes to this space where it's guarded and protected, and it's like working on a fight or flight, where you feel like any move you make is going to be a wrong move, so you choose not to move instead. And that's not good. That's keeping you in a space you're not moving, and things will happen to try and break down those walls. If you have an open space, you're guarded because your energy field is only allowing in what you allow it into. And I think that's something we all have to realize as well, is that we are guarded and protected. And another meaning to this card is that our angels are literally guarding and protecting us during this time. It means both things, and we need to acknowledge that. That we are guarded and protected, and it's safe to take those risks. Now, I cannot quote things. I forget who these things come from. I literally take in the wisdom and then forget where they come from, so I can't credit anything or anyone. But I remember watching something the other day in regards to when things are serious and when things are hard and tough, and you have to make decisions that are the hard decisions. All of a sudden everything comes serious, and then there's a massive block. And that happens to a lot of us neurospicy type people, where it's like when things are getting harder, it's not even within our capacity to move past this block. Everything just goes numb and blocks. This is kind of the sense I'm feeling with this card. It feels very dark. And the idea with this is to allow play into your life, to stop allowing the seriousness to overcome everything that you are accomplishing. We need play, we need enjoyment, we need things to make us feel good. So however that looks for you, the guidance here is to be more playful, to allow the more flexible ideas to come through you, because they're the answers, they're in the inspiration that will help you to change in here. And I do get the sense of in here is what is the direction that we need to change that narrative, change that what is the point, I don't belong for this world. I fully understand that, and I have these same thoughts, and it's something we have to work on and change. There's about to be a lightning again, a thunder again. I'll carry on reading. Our next card is Mirror Guardian. Take time to reflect. So we definitely need to be gentle and patient during these times. I do get this sense of, again, a lot of internal work with this. You're reflecting on I guess why are you feeling the way you're feeling? What's making this happen? There's likelihood that you already know, because it's external things that are affecting your internal. But I feel as though it's a very healing energy during this time, which, as I said, that I just caught my eye. Energy healing work is literally the next column. But I get the sense of really looking deep and not self-analyzing. It's just I'm getting a sense of kind of looking at who you are authentically, and kind of when I say self-love, I kind of want you to have a think on like what makes you work, and this can be things that you see as good or bad things, but just look into them. So for myself, I am a very stubborn person. I am very opinionated. I believe what I believe for a reason, right? These are things that other people could see as negatives, but I actually love that about myself. I think it gives me purpose, gives me reason, and it helps me in my purpose in this world, to put out what I do. So it's beautifully me, right? And I feel like that's the kind of thing I want you to do. It's what I'm guided to kind of sort of be like, have a look in the mirror and see what makes you the guardian. What makes you a guardian in your life, in your purpose? What's your reason? And this in itself is the healing work. Now, energy healing work is shadow work, so it is looking at parts of ourselves that maybe might not be, all colorful and roses. It's not what we actually have always shown in the world, but it's what we should be putting out there, but channeled in a healthy way. This is paired with Page of Swords. I definitely get this sense of you holding tightly and closely. You are really our Taurus, hiding behind who you really are. It's like masking is the sense I get with this. It's like you're holding your tools too closely to your heart, that it is affecting you, it's hurting you, rather than actually healing and protecting you. It's doing the actual opposite during this time. It's just what I'm getting with this card. It's like holding a sword too, like she is grasping that sword, and how it's giving me is that you're holding too tightly to the blade. So the things in you that are your tools, that are part of making you, I just get this sense of them causing you damage, because you again, this negative narration, these negative thoughts going on in you. What else am I getting from her? But you feel strong. And I actually think that this is a really major growth for you here. We have to shut that window. Oh my god. Picked the worst time. What is it? An ant? It's okay. I feel as though there's a lot of growth here. So the Page of Swords comes when it's a really ambitious time. Hey, Roomberg. It's a time for growth, and it's a time to be confident and move forward. Now, I think that actually once you realize what needs to be changed, what narration needs to work, and doing this energy work, it's literally the change. It's the new direction. This is going to change everything for us and help us move towards more positive mindset, and more positive things in our life. I do feel like this is a tough time for us at the moment during April. I feel like coming from March into April, I can sense this, which we are in the beginning part of this. Now, I would say, let's have a look. We have the Ten of Wands in reverse. Yeah, it's very cool, Rainbow. Um, yeah, I feel very self-imposed that anything that's negatively impacting you during this time, it really does come with this narration in our minds, um, which I think is a good thing, actually. It's a bad thing because it's something we need to check and look into. There's going to be a thunder. But it's a good thing because it means you can change that. You can make positive change without having to externally push yourself further than what you're vulnerably ready for right now. I feel as though it is internal work needs to be done. I do feel like you are burdened and overwhelmed during this time, which in the right position, the Ten of Wands can be taking on more burdens. But I feel like, again, it's just how you're feeling, like feeling overwhelmed with where you are right now, and with what you're having to deal with during this time. Yes, see? Okay, just be quiet, please, while I just do this. And I feel like you're overwhelmed with the situations that you're dealing with. Now, I said, I think in the travel, if I didn't, I meant to, there may be some people there who are moving home, changing location. And this card is your home is protected by angels. This is saying that in the likelihood that you do have to change your location, change your career, but specifically that's your home, your security, if that has to change during this time, that you are protected, and it's a very positive card to have while undergoing that type of thing. It may feel overwhelming, but I get this sense that with that Ten of Wands in reverse, again, it's just feeling of overwhelmness. It's feeling of that impending something that we just can't see happening. It makes us anxious. But this is saying that you may feel anxious, but I promise you everything will be okay. So I hope that helps you, Taurus. Okay, the next card we have is Mountains. It is in reverse, so pay attention to this with these cards. Stand your ground. It is time for you to show up for yourself, and it is time for you to move forward in the direction that you want to go. I do feel like you need to access this Taurian stubbornness, and make sure that, again, things are happening on your terms. Things are working out the way that you want them to work out. And I do feel like you might have to stand up for yourself if injustices are being shot your way. And I feel like it's just saying, just be strong. There's so much of you beneath the surface. People are going to underestimate you. People are going to say things because they don't really know. Because again, we are guarding and protecting ourselves. Things that they know are things that you've allowed people to see. It isn't even really truly your authentic self during this time, because I feel you are really guarding that aspect of yourself. So acknowledge that and realize that when people are saying certain things, and I want to say this because if there are gossip and rumors going around, you need to actually realize that why those rumors are, it's because they don't actually know the truth. They don't know who they're dealing with, they don't know what they're saying, and that makes them the fool, not you. Oh, I see. Don't get them everywhere. Shield yourself. So again, protect your energy when it comes to anything that anyone else has to say. I do feel like there is, this is paired with the Three of Swords, but it is in reverse. I feel like a past, if a breakup or something that's caused us heartache in the past is still affecting us to this day, in any way that may be coming into your current situation. I feel like you need to shield yourself from that energy and stop allowing the energy of others to influence what you're feeling. And again, internal work, we're making sure that the outside is not reflecting who we are, allowing our inside to narrate. I feel this sadness and grief in the past, and I feel again it's because we are dealing with massive changes right now, is influencing again the outside world. I feel like it's coming to a head though. I feel like we are dealing with this right now in the present time, in this moment, that we are just at the tip of the iceberg where things will start to showcase in our lives. It's gonna be really loud. Sure, Lucy, we'll leave recording till last minute, and then we'll do it on a rainy day when it's storming and thundering and it's dark. Great idea, Lucy. Awesome. Okay, I've got one more column after these cards. So we have Ten of Cups in reverse, along with have confidence. I do feel like you really are shying yourself away at the moment. I think understand your vulnerability and allow yourself to take time to nurture yourself if needed. But I do think actually being social could be really beneficial to you during this time. I get this sense of you being worried to put yourself out there, perhaps because of this heartache and because of perhaps rumors and things that are being said about you. So I get this sense of not feeling you can trust others, but I do think that actually you need to have confidence in fact that not everybody is the same and not everybody feels the same way about things. So shutting ourselves off to new or to people that have reached out isn't the answer, is what I want to say with this card. I do feel like the Ten of Cups again insinuates that this is uncomfortable time for us. We might need to get uncomfortable, but it is for a purpose, and I do feel like it is again pushing us towards this new. But Have Confidence is a great card. It's saying you're on the right path, that this is meant to happen for a reason, and it's pushing you towards the direction and where you need to go, which is interesting because our next card is Direction Guardian. You have two guardians, Mirror and Direction. Choose your path. And I feel like this is exactly it. You're coming to this moment where it's like you are again now, you've regained control. I feel like we have lacked this ability and we've been wanting, and it's like what we've been working towards is this control that's just seems so out of reach, so like hard to grasp. I feel like we're coming into this moment where finally everything is within your control, and that's fucking scary but it's necessary, and I think it's exactly what we want and we desire. But again, it comes with needing the strength. Now this card, if you see on it, it has so many spirit animals with it, so many guides, and I feel like that's the support that you have right now. So lean on your ancestors and your spiritual team, but also know that there are people out there rooting for you, even if you do not know or cannot see. So keep that in mind. Now we have Ace of Pentacles in reverse, along with Be Gentle with Yourself. Again, it's hard, it's scary, and that's okay. But it means you're on the right direction, because anything that doesn't give you feelings of, I guess, like some kind of anxiety over, I feel like it just means that it's not meant for you. Because if it doesn't give you a sense of wonder, then is it worth achieving, worth going for? It's not giving you that kind of dopamine is what I want to say, which I don't think is necessarily a good thing to reach for. But again, things that give you that rush are there for a reason. I think you need to listen to yourself on what is anxious because you're just scared, and what's anxious because it's not for you. And I think you'll find most of the time, this is what I'm doing actively with myself at the moment, and I actually, when I ask myself, is it just because it scares me, it makes me feel overwhelmed, so I want to go back into my safety shell like a snail, and then most of the time it's like, yes, that is why I'm feeling anxious and why I'm scared and why I want to avoid it, rather than it actually be something I don't want to do. Now this Ace of Pentacles, it's a time of prosperity, it's a time of new beginnings. I do feel like that is here for us, but again, I feel this block, and I feel like we have to break down this barrier, and be kind to ourselves during this time. And I just get this sense of worries. I feel there's nothing to worry about, but that we are worried. Again, yeah, financially, a prosperous side, I feel this is a big concern for us during this time. I want to remind us that our home is protected, our security is protected, so try not to let the worries, again, keep you in this blockage, keep you in that bad narration. Let's have a look, Taurus. See, this Queen of Pentacles, I feel, is us, Taurus. And again, we are loyal, we are charming, we are creative, we are trustworthy. And I feel like you, again, this is the Mirror Guardian. These are things you need to remind yourself of exactly. This is paired with sense of humor. So it's realizing that the actions of others are not about us, it's about them. So when dealing with anything, for example, partners, as I touched on this beginning, because it keeps bringing me always back to the beginning for us, Taurus, I feel like we definitely need to listen to the guidance at the beginning of the reading. It's just all about that. It's basically saying, like, in regards to our loved ones, they're coming from a place of love, and to look at it from objectively, rather than from the heavy emotions that we might be feeling because we're vulnerable, and realizing that we're feeling that because we're vulnerable, and not because that's literally the place it's coming from. It is a card of seeing things, again, a lot less heavy-hearted and having hope and faith when looking into directions that we're going. But again, be kind, understand why you feel the way you're feeling. I'm just going to pull one more card for us. Lean on God and the angels for support. So realize that there is a team of support with you, your guardians, and they're rooting for you right now. This is a card, again, that you're on the right path. It might be hard, but keep going, keep moving forward. and trust in the process. And trust me, I fully understand that whole reading is very frustrating in terms of like, we're doing the best we can, and I think you need to appreciate that about yourself, and love yourself. It's pretty awesome what you're going through and the decisions you're making for yourself right now. I just kind of want to give you a big high five and a hug at the same time, Taurus, because I feel like I kind of appreciate the difficulty of the energy in the air right now. I feel like astrologically it's putting a lot of us in depression because it's that dark side of the moon kind of moment where we're all about to bloom the fuck out and this is in the next couple of years, and we are not even gonna, like, we're gonna look back to this moment and be like, wow, like I see why that had to happen, but I'm nowhere near that space anymore. So keep that in mind, hold that light, and move forward. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Please subscribe to my channel to help me keep doing these videos for you, and I'll see you next month. Happy birthday for those of you who have your birthday this month.